Take a good look at this machine, the Hermel C42 UMT. The Hermel C42 UMT is a 5-axis machining and turning center made in Germany. And yes, it's as impressive as it sounds. What makes this machine special is its ability to both mill and turn a workpiece in a single setup. That means less time moving parts from machine to machine, fewer chances for error, and tighter tolerances all around. The machine features a trunnion-style rotary tilt table that can rotate 360 degrees and tilt from +30 to -110 degrees, giving operators full access to nearly every surface of a part without ever flipping it over. It handles workpieces weighing up to 300 kilograms, that's about 660 pounds, and holds a maximum turning diameter of 630 millimeters. The spindle on this unit runs up to 18,000 RPM with HSKA 63 tooling, and the turning spindle delivers up to 700 Newton-meters of torque. For hard metals like titanium, Inconel, and hardened steel, that kind of torque makes all the difference. What you're watching right now is the machine running a complex aerospace-style component, cutting, turning, and finishing in one continuous cycle. The control system uses Heidenhain TNC 640, one of the most trusted CNCs in precision manufacturing. What you're watching is the complete manufacturing journey of a forged crane hook from Pengsheng Forging, one of China's premier forging companies. And this process is far more involved than most people realize. It starts with raw steel billets being heated in a furnace to around 200 degrees Celsius. That's over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. At that temperature, steel becomes malleable, almost like thick clay. The billets are then transferred immediately to the forging press. The forging press slams down with thousands of tons of force, shaping the red-hot steel into a near-net hook form. Multiple die strikes are used to gradually form the hook's shape, ensuring the grain structure of the steel flows along the contour of the hook, not cut across it. That's critical for strength. After forging, the hook goes through a controlled heat treatment process, normalizing and quenching, to refine its grain structure and achieve the required mechanical properties like tensile strength and impact resistance. Then comes machining. CNC lathes and mills cut the mounting threads, bore the hook's inner diameter, and finish the load-bearing surfaces to tight dimensional tolerances. Next, the hook is sandblasted to remove all scale and oxidation, giving it that uniform matte finish you see here. Finally, it's ground and polished at critical wear points, then inspected visually, dimensionally, and with non-destructive testing methods like magnetic particle inspection. IHIS's submerged arc welding, SAW for short, and it's one of the most productive welding processes ever developed for heavy industrial applications. Here's what makes it unique. Before the welding even starts, a thick layer of granular flux, a sand-like powder, is deposited directly onto the seam to be welded. The welding electrode, a continuously fed wire, is then inserted down into this flux layer. When the arc ignites, it burns completely submerged beneath the flux, completely hidden from view. That layer of flux does something remarkable. It acts as a thermal blanket, trapping the heat of the arc and allowing the weld pool to stay molten longer. This deeper heat penetration means fewer passes are needed to fill a thick joint, dramatically improving productivity. The flux also serves as a chemical shield. It prevents oxygen and nitrogen in the surrounding air from contaminating the weld pool, two elements that would introduce porosity and brittleness into the finished weld. The result is an exceptionally clean, smooth weld bead with virtually no spatter and minimal fume generation. In practical terms, this process is ideal for long, straight welds on thick plate. Think pressure vessels, structural beams, ship hulls, pipeline sections, and heavy equipment frames. Companies building industrial boilers or refinery vessels rely on submerged arc welding because of the consistent quality and the sheer volume of metal that can be deposited per hour. The wire electrode used in SAW is typically a solid or metal cord wire, ranging from 2.4 to 6.4 millimeters in diameter, much heavier than what you'd use for MIG welding. The welding current can reach 1000 amps or higher, which is why the flux shield is so essential. At those power levels, an exposed arc would be blinding and dangerous. After the weld is complete, the unmelted flux on top is vacuumed up and recycled for reuse. Beneath it lies a slag layer that's easily chipped away, revealing a weld bead that's smooth, uniform, and structurally sound. Now, submerged arc welding isn't perfect for every situation. It requires flat or slightly inclined positions. The flux won't stay in place on a vertical surface. And it needs a significant equipment setup, making it less portable than stick or MIG welding. But for the right application, long production runs on thick, flat material. There is simply nothing more efficient. What you're watching is the Grindex BBN 500 CNC external thread grinding machine in action, and it's doing something most machining equipment simply can't match, producing precision external threads on hardened workpieces with tolerances tighter than a human hair. The Grindex BBN 500 is a Czech-built precision machine designed specifically for cylindrical thread grinding. It handles workpieces up to 500 millimeters in length and 250 millimeters in diameter, covering a thread range from M10 all the way up to M200. That's a serious range, from medium fastener threads to massive lead screws for heavy machinery. What makes the CNC control system so valuable here is its ability to continuously adjust the infeed, traverse rate, and wheel compensation in real time as the grinding wheel wears down. Thread grinding wheels are made of aluminum oxide or CBN, cubic boron nitride, and they're dressed to the exact thread profile before each cycle. As the wheel removes material, the CNC compensates automatically, keeping the thread form perfect throughout the entire grinding pass. The process itself is a form of generating grinding. The rotating workpiece advances along its axis while the spinning wheel contacts the thread flanks simultaneously. The precision of the resulting thread isn't measured in thousandths of an inch, it's measured in micrometers. The coolant system on this machine is also worth noting. High-pressure filtered coolant is delivered directly to the grinding zone to flush away swarf, prevent thermal damage to the workpiece, and extend wheel life. What you're watching right now is a 600 metric ton washing tower being raised into place at an industrial facility in Louisiana. That's roughly 3.5 million pounds, about the same weight as 500 full-size pickup trucks, being lifted and positioned with pinpoint precision. The crane making this happen is the Mamoet PTC 200DS, a pedestal traveling crane of extraordinary capability. The PTC 200DS is a ring crane, meaning it travels along a circular rail track that's assembled on-site around the lift zone. This design allows the crane to rotate a full 360 degrees while maintaining its enormous lifting capacity. At its maximum radius of 50 meters, the PTC 200DS can lift approximately 500 to 2,000 metric tons, depending on configuration. The main boom on this machine can reach heights exceeding 100 meters, that's over 300 feet, which is essential for heavy process tower installations like this one. What makes this lift especially complex is that the tower must be rotated from horizontal to vertical, what engineers call a tailing and lifting operation. A secondary crane assists at the base, controlling the tail end as the primary crane lifts the head, tipping the structure upright with coordinated precision. Both crane operators work in constant radio communication with a lift director who monitors load cells, wind speed, and clearances in real time. The rigging alone is an engineering project. Custom fabricated spreader beams, hydraulic shackles, and high-capacity synthetic slings, rated far above the load, are used to ensure the stress is evenly distributed across the tower's lifting points. Carbon fiber is one of those materials that feels almost futuristic. lighter than aluminum, stronger than steel, and used in everything from Formula One cars to space rockets to medical prosthetics. The machine doing it is the MOT 961130M, a 96-carrier carbon fiber braiding machine capable of producing complex braided preforms with remarkable consistency. Here's how it works. 96 individual spools of carbon fiber tow, each containing thousands of ultrafine filaments, are loaded onto carriers that orbit a central mandrel in interlocking patterns. Half the carriers move clockwise, half move counterclockwise, and as the mandrel advances through the center, the fibers interlace into a tight, seamless braid that conforms perfectly to the mandrel's shape. The MOT 961130M handles mandrel diameters up to 130 millimeters and can produce braid angles ranging from approximately 15 to 75 degrees, depending on the ratio of mandrel feed speed to carrier rotation speed. That braid angle is critical. Shallower angles resist axial loads better, while steeper angles handle torsion and internal pressure more effectively. What's remarkable about braided carbon fiber versus woven fabric is the structural continuity. The fibers are never cut. They run continuously through the structure, creating an uninterrupted load path. This gives braided components exceptional damage tolerance and resistance to delamination.